Okay, so this segment is called Today's False Flag, brought to you by Pfizer. Now, to some extent, today's show title, brought to you by Pfizer, is sarcasm. However, Big Pharma, including Pfizer, funds most political campaigns on both sides. Uh, Today, before noon, we had a warehouse fire in Kissimmee, Florida, and another train derailment with hazardous chemicals, only this time in Detroit. Before we continue, a word from my sponsor. Today's video sponsor is CBD Gummies. Do you have chronic pain, anxiety, stress, or trouble sleeping? There's a natural remedy for that. Get relief up to 5 times faster with CBD Gummies. These gummies use a nanotechnology to get you relief within 15 minutes, as opposed to traditional CBD edibles that can take up to 30 minutes to 2 hours to kick in. This nanotechnology allows CBD to be absorbed by your stomach, entering your bloodstream and bypassing the process of metabolization. Get your CBD gummies today at covfefe.click/gummies. covfefe.click/gummies. Okay, so for weeks now, we've been seeing one false flag after another. And in my opinion, there are two reasons for what I'd consider to be this Democrat strategy. One, damage Joe Biden to prevent him from running again in 2024. And to muddy up Trump and make room for the new selected candidates for 2024 on the Democrat side. And I believe that that's going to be Obama and Clinton. I also think it's to distract from the damage that they've done to Joe Biden from the Democrat side. See, like, they need chaos to operate. That's pretty much the whole thing. So one, they need to pressure Joe Biden to not run again in 2024. And they got to damage him to get him to that point. And then, as I said, they also need to muddy up Trump and get a weak Republican nominee. This way, they don't have to talk about all the damage they just did to Biden. They could just point to the other side like they like to do all the time and say, oh, but look at Trump and look at him, look what he did, classified documents, all the same things that they have with Biden. So they're kind of trying to create an environment where anything you could say about Biden, they could say about Trump, and then you just have so if you now have a weak Republican candidate, like, let's say, I don't know, Ron DeSantis or Mike Pence or Nikki Haley against an Obama-Clinton candidacy, it would be believable that Obama Clinton could win. Plus two women, a black woman, a white woman. You know, we covered this in the last segment. You know, in my opinion, one of the things that I think that is slowing down the process of getting Biden to the point where he's willing to say, I'm just not going to run again in 2024, I believe it's Joe Biden. Joe Biden, I believe, is Joe's handler, his direct handler. I think really Obama's calling the shots behind the scenes. And Obama's probably getting his orders from a John Podesta, who's getting them from someone else, who's getting them from someone else. However, I do think that there is a line of succession, and I do think that Jill Biden is before Joe Biden. And I think that Jill Biden has a sudden thirst for power. You know, who the hell's Jill Biden? She's just like some teacher with a doctorate, right? So now it's probably Obama giving orders to Jill, who's, you know, trying to. It's like that puppet, you know, that puppet where they used to have the hand in the back? That's Jill with Joe, her dummy. I think we got something like that going on. And I think what we're seeing now with all these false flags, which I do think is going to continue, by the way, until we get the dummy to um, not decide not to run again in 2024. Uh, I think we're going to continue to see these false flags, and I think that they are caused by a power struggle within the Democrat Party establishment cabal, whatever the hell you want to call them. I think you have different factions. I do think that there is a separate Clinton and Obama faction. I do think you have a Jill Biden faction. I think you may have a Kamala faction, but that's probably the weakest of all of them. And I think that you have, despite the fact the Obamas and the Clintons hate each other, I think that to save their own ass, I think they're willing to join a ticket just to, you know, shield themselves from some potential stuff that might be coming out. Because that's another thing to think about too. Some of these House investigations are going to turn up some shit, and there is a major connection between the Hillary Clinton email scandal, China, and all those other things, and everything that Joe Biden is guilty of, with the Hunter Biden laptop. That Anthony Weiner laptop allegedly makes the Hunter Biden laptop look like child's play. And let's not forget all the stuff Obama's guilty of. So I could see them wanting to put those two on a ticket to try to shield them from prosecution or going after them. Again, that's just my opinion. But if I were you, I would stay tuned because I think these events are going to continue. And I think they're going to continue until they get some sort of agreement from Joey B not to run again. And then they'll probably just go away and they'll work on muddying Trump. That's my opinion. Maybe a Trump indictment of some sort. And not to keep stating the same thing, but I do believe that the play we're about to see is a Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton ticket. Not sure what order that would be. As I said, these two individuals hate each other, but this is about convenience and to shield themselves from potential prosecution, I believe. The one thing they cannot afford is to have Trump in office again, especially after what they did to him. Could you imagine what a second Trump term would be like, assuming he was able to make better personnel decisions? They're not going to risk that. But at the same time, despite the fact there will most likely be funny business, you still need to sell it to the people. And if you really think about it, and I've heard this, by the way, from credible named journalists that I just so happen to know or have become friendly with on Twitter and other social media platforms. They all seem to agree. They believe it's a Hillary Obama. One guy who said it open source, and I don't know him, but is Benny Johnson. So just to show you that there is talk of that. Now, I don't know that it's 100% going to be Obama Clinton. I do think I could see that happening. I do think it's going to be one or the two on a ticket. And I really do think that you'll probably see both of them on one. It would just, you got to think about if you were the big bad scumbag, what would you do? And that kind of, let's not forget that when Obama squashed Hillary in 2008, she was promised to be next. And then came 2016. She's not over it. And don't think it sits well with her that they stole it for the basement dummy that we call Joe Biden. Why didn't they do that for her is probably what she's thinking, right? And at the same time, nobody likes Hillary. So it would be very believable that a guy like Ron DeSantis could beat Hillary. You could paint that picture if you were Bob Ross or something, right? And Michelle Obama has never been elected for anything, never been in government. So to have her on a ticket, I mean, with what experience do you bring? So this kind of, in my opinion, kills quite a few birds with one stone. It's an all-female ticket. You have a multiracial ticket. You have one popular candidate with some brainwashed idiots, Michelle Obama is. And then you have the experience. Sounds logical to me. Like I said, it's just a theory. It's a theory that comes from some information that maybe not everybody knows. So there's a little bit of an educated hypothesis, if you will, there. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. That's all I have to say here. If you would do me a favor, hit the like button, the share button, follow, subscribe, whatever the hell you got to do with whatever channel this is. If it's Substack, that's free as well. You might as well subscribe. This way you get an email every once in a while when I blast the emails out to, for breaking news and things like that. And don't forget to visit today's sponsor, CBD Gummies. It's American grown hemp CBD. It's legal in all 50 states. And it can be found at covfefe.click/gummies. covfefe.click/gummies. And that's all I have to say today. Until next time.